Alright, welcome back to another video hosted by the Shuffle Table. I'm the Credible Jeff, and we're here to bring you budget-friendly or meme decks that will turn your locals into a nightmare and challenge even the toughest tournament players. So just to go ahead and get right into it, I'd like to start things off by saying Buggy isn't meta, but he is my favorite One Piece character. Not to be confused with Uda, who is my favorite One Piece TCG leader, but he's pretty close behind. Buggy's leader ability, you can discard one card from hand, and when resting 5 Dawn, you'll play one cross skilled type from the hand. So that's a nice leader ability. I got 4 Mr. 1 Daz Bones, strictly for his on play, which is to draw 2 and trash 1 from hand. He's a 5 cost, 6,000 power Baroque Works type card. Um, I run 4 Mr. 2 Bond Clays. He's a 2,000 counter card. So I run 12 2,000 counters, but Mr. 2 here, he is from OP09, a 5 cost and 5,000 power, so he synergizes very well into this deck when we're trying to build a board and so we can play the 10 cost Buggy. Next, I got 2 Charlotte Puddings. We run 2 of these, but your opponent's going to return their hand to their deck, shuffle, and draw 5. It's a good way to limit the opponent's hand size if they have too many cards, or it's a good way to mix things up if you notice your opponent has been playing a lot of searchers. Yeah, moving forward, Jozu, I played 2 of these, but we'll get back to him later. I'm going to move forward on to Kabiji here. We got 4 Kabijis. He's a 2,000 counter card. That's it. Crocodile. I've got a 7 cost Crocodile. We run 4 of these for his on play, and you can play him behind Buggy's leader ability. So, and then once you play Crocodile, you'll play Mr. 1 Daz Bones because he can play a 5 cost or under, or you can play this Mr. 1 that lets you draw 2 and trash 1 just to keep things moving and heavy on the board. Next up, Dracula Mihawk. He is your 6 cost cross skilled type card. He's a blocker that's 7,000 power, and you can play him behind Buggy. Lastly, I have the 10 cost Buggy here, who can also be played for 5 behind my leader ability. So you can bottom deck with this card, but if you don't have 5 costs or more, Buggy himself will be sent to the bottom. I run 4 emojis, strictly for his 2,000 counter, and then the cross guild type, so it synergizes well. Not much to say about Mr. 1 Daz Bones other than I've run 4 of these, the 5 costs, and he's 7,000 power. Yeah, next up, I got Mr. 3. I can play him, and then behind him, let's say I had 7 Dawn, I'm going to play Jozu and send Galindo back to the hand. Jozu sends your character back to hand. It's a nice little combo within this deck, but not to focus or rely on it. Sanji Pilaf, basically draw 2 cards or trigger to activate main. I use Special Muggy Ball. He's going to return a 6 cost to the hand of your opponent, but it's by their choice. And then lastly, Kari Bari Island, if I'm pronouncing that right. Pretty much 2 of these just to keep things interesting. To send the cards that you don't need from the hand to the bottom, and then just draw 2 new cards. So that's my Buggy deck. Let's go ahead and hit save. All right, so let's see who we get. Always a little nervous, especially when I'm playing with Buggy. Just because it could be challenging. And just always remember, this isn't a meta leader. I'm not trying to teach you guys how to play with a crazy good deck and then run and win championships or tournaments. I have to work really hard to get the wins that I do get. So just let that be heard. So we're off the back. I'm going first. We'll play the Mr. Galindo, and I'll search for a card and pass turn to my opponent. I will be at 3 next, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and swing for 5, and then use my 3 Dawn that's left to play the Sanji Pilaf, drawing 2 more cards to hand, so I'll be at 7. Alright, and we'll pass turn to old buddy here. We're gonna block out. I'm gonna use 2K and a 1K counter since I have it. That's why I have so many 2K counters in this deck. I'd like to kind of like, I like to survive the early onslaught, so I have my late life, and then hopefully, if I have a good hand, I can start building a board. Um, so we'll swing for 7 at and now, bringing him down to 2, and let's see what he does now. He may not be playing anything because he wants to wipe things off my board. I tend to play that game with Smoker or with Lucci. If you don't want anything removed, then don't play it. That's what I say. It causes those players to think a little bit differently, and sometimes sometimes they're just copy and pasting a deck or just memorizing certain synergies or combos from what they've played. So if you, like in chess, if you just kind of play a little differently or maybe more aggro, something they're not used to, that tends to mix things up. So if you notice, I just played my Charlotte pudding. He had a big hand. I don't know. That scares me. So the Charlotte pudding is going to limit that. It's going to shrink it down to a 5 instead of whatever he had. And I'm just going to bring some more heat. He's going to either have to discard cards. So now, as he did, he's at 4 in hand. Now back to 5 because of his draw from the start of his turn. But he maybe should be at 8 Dawn by now. Curious to see what he's going to do. Oh, okay. So we'll give it to him. He's really been wanting to take a life from me. So yeah, you can have it. Um, yeah. Use trigger. Let's send this blocker back to hand. So that way he can waste Dawn, play the blocker. Um, Yeah, so we won't play the leader ability. I'm gonna play Crocodile for 7, and then that will let me play Mr. One Dad's Bones. I'll attach 1 to Pudding and Swing for 5, and then I'm gonna end turn because if I swing for 6 with Buggy with that last Dawn, I'm pretty much giving him a free life if I'm with his leader ability. And his leader ability, once he hits 0, he can go back up to 1 once per turn, and then that's when discarding a card from hand. So we'll give him the Charlotte Pudding. I guess I could have played it smart and just attached the 1 to Buggy and then swung for 6 first, and that way I could have kept Pudding a little bit longer. We'll play a We'll play him for 5. We'll trash 1 card from hand since I have 3 Buggies. That way bottom decking his ace and then swinging for 5. And we'll end turn. I could swing with my Crocodile or Mr. One, but I'd like to save them to build a board. I only need 2 more cards. I got 10 next turn. I'll have 4 cards in hand. So technically I can use my leader ability twice. Um, Playing Crocodile first, so I'll end up with 4 cards on the board, and then afterwards I'll play Buggy also for 5, maybe bottom decking something. But the good news is I'll have a 12 cost power character on the board. So yeah, so we do have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I could just play him for 5. We don't have Richies in this deck, so we choose 0 and then choose 0 again. Um, Trashing 1 card from hand, playing Buggy over my Searcher, bottom deck, and then now I can actually bring the heat next turn. So that way we'll let him attack me. Unless So he's got a nail. So he's a rush. Okay. So he can swing. If he's smart, he can swing 3 times. I have no blockers. But it's really dependent. We don't know what's underneath my life. So we'll take it. Imagine he's gonna swing next. Use trigger. No. And he'll swing. You know, I'm really confused why he put the 3 on Anel. I guess could So let's just go ahead and swing with everybody right out the back. We'll do 12 at Anel. We'll swing 7 at Anel. Hopefully he'll use 2 cards to counter out. Let's swing 6 at Anel. So right now he's doing his leader ability. I'm assuming where he can trash a card from hand, and once he hits 0, he can go back up to 1, pretty much taking another life. We'll swing for 9. Yeah, this is doing the math. He's only got 4 cards in hand, unless he's got the counters. I'm about to put all Dawn on these last 2. Swing for 9. And like the only way out of this now would be a counter card, and this is a gamble because he could have it. All right, and there is our first win with Buggy, and against a pretty formidable foe. This, I mean, Anel's not an easy. I think he's an underrated leader. I can't stress that enough. All right off the back, we got ourselves a black yellow Luffy. So, this is really fun and really good for this video. I didn't want to make a video of where I'm making a meme deck look good and then play meme leaders or budget leaders. I'd like to see this leader do well versus meta. So black yellow Luffy, I want to see yellow Enel. I want to see Blackbeard. I want to see Adofi. I want to see, like, we want the challenge. We don't want the easy win. This is going to take us into later rankings. And hopefully, if you're really trying to get into the competitive scene and locals, whether it be tournaments or your local card shop, let these decks be a feasible challenge to those who underestimate these leaders. All right, so moving forward, if you notice, I drew first, so I just Dawn 1, didn't play anything, but now we'll draw our card for turn 2, and we'll just go ahead and pass turn to Luffy. So if you notice, if you're asking yourself why didn't I swing onto that leader, I don't want to give him more cards to hand. I don't care that he's got a lot of life. The challenge comes later. Some people get overzealous and we start heading into the win quickly, but you're just gonna kind of lead yourself into defeat. If he builds up a big hand, he can choose what he wants to discard into that discard pile, and once he hits 0 life, he will be a threat. Once he has no life, he will be pulling cards out of trash back to his life, and then he can be swinging for 7, 9, or even 11, and you can't swing into him because he's actually stuck with that power gain until the beginning of the next turn. So he's going to swing heavy, and little does he know, I'm actually going to counter out of this. I have all the cards in hand, and this is why I put so many 2K counters. You'll see me come out on top. Luffy players and Blackbeards do not scare me. We'll play Moji. I don't have Richies. Don't need them. Don't care about them. I'm just trying to build a board. So now we have 2 5 cost on board. I'll probably attach in a normal match, I'd attach my last 2 to Buggy, swing for 7. And then since he doesn't have anything on board, but we can start using these Muggy balls later if he happens to have Sabos or Luffys, things that can send back to hand that don't come out of the graveyard. So we do have the Sabo there. He'll swing for 8, and we'll give it to him. All right, turn pass, draw turn, and we will play Mr. 1, our searcher here, just pulling more cards to hand. We want this Mr. 1. We can't pull Charlotte Pudding. If you saw her, I would have preferred to take her because that's the secret card to going against Luffy. Luffy's going to have a huge hand size, just like the Enel that we went up against last match. You just play the Pudding, and that really that changes their momentum. Once they lose their momentum, you pretty much start taking the game. Um, let's see. So we have ourselves a Kuzan and a Sabo on board. Yep, we really need that pudding. So I'm gonna use both the Muggy balls. I one two. I could have used my leader ability 2 times, discarding the Muggy balls, allowing me to put a blocker out there and then then the Buggy afterwards. But I think I want to play it safe. And then if you notice, next turn I can actually play 2 back-to-back Buggies. Oh no, we'll need a total of 4 cards in hand actually to make that work. So we'll discard 1 card, whatever our draw is, and then we'll play Buggy onto whatever he plays next. Then we'll start bringing that heat. I'll have 5 characters that can attack, and then just slowly, hopefully, maybe start keeping characters off his board. Use trigger. So we'll draw the 2 cards from the trigger ability. That's awesome. And we're gonna get that Sabo. I'm gonna bottom deck that Sabo. Oh, there's our Charlotte Pudding. We're going to deploy her over Mr. 3. And then we're going to activate leader ability trashing the Karibari Island, playing Buggy over top of her. And then we'll send... we're going to send Sabo to the bottom of the deck. And we'll start swinging now. So 6 at Luffy. 7 at Luffy. 5 at Luffy. Um, and I didn't push the 7 on the Luffy. If they wanted to swing, I didn't want too many boards. I didn't want too many characters to be swung at, so we'll wait. Because again, I do have 1 more Buggy in hand, so I could play that Buggy for just a total of 10, not losing another card from hand. And whatever he decides to play next, then I'll have 2 Buggies. But always remember, swing after. So swing first with your characters, and then if you're gonna replace a character on board with another, then do so. So he played. So he attacked with Kuzan, brought my cost down on Crocodile, and I guess that would bring him down to a 3. And then he played his Luffy. So I can actually play. Oh no, I can't. Um, um, yeah, he's got a pretty big hand there. It's really hard to know what to do. Maybe just go all in, swing 10, maybe 10, a 12, and yeah, a 9. You should have the counter for that. Um, right? Okay. Yeah, Makino, Hioris. Ooh. So that tells me he doesn't have the Hioris, or I don't know if he's got any more shot at Flampe. So we'll swing and then we'll swing with 12. I mean, he's going to have. All right, and that's how you beat Luffy. I mean, you saw him winning. I mean, up until that turn, I bet you were probably asking yourself, this buggy player doesn't have this match. So just let that be a lesson. All right. So this matchup, it looks like we're using the green purple Doflamingo leader. 4 life. I'm not actually. I don't know too much about him. I've played him a few times. I know. I'd imagine I get some of his combos. Uh, so I shouldn't have mulliganed. I pulled 3 crocodiles. We're definitely not in a pretty position. That means I've got 4 cards that are just 1K counters, and then I've got my Sanji Pilaf that will let me draw. We are going second, so we want a 2K counter in hand. So, oh, we'll take Kabiji. It's good that we pulled the Mr. 3, and then we'll just end turn passing it to Dolph. We'll see what kind of depending on what his first play is, that kind of gives us an understanding of what combos or what cards he's gonna play. So we have a Sugar. So Sugar's gonna rest. Okay. Um, we'll use our 2K counter. All right. So let's go ahead and draw a card. If I play anything, she could rest it. Not that I can. We'll play the Sanji Pilaf, adding 1, swinging for 6. Let's see what he does next turn. All right. We're gonna attach 3 to Mr. 3, swinging for 5. And I'll just go ahead and play another Mr. 3. So we'll pull another card into hand, hoping that Sugar, it forces her to activate her ability. And then I'll just attach the other Dawn to my leader, Buggy, swinging for 7 on 0. I don't know if there's any counters that he could use this early. I don't know. It's kind of a gamble because he's got 2 active Dawn. Okay, so we got Sugar off board. We'll pass turn. She's a scary force to be reckoned with, especially with Birdcage. Um, and yeah, Birdcage prevents my characters from untapping. So you'll see once the next turn comes around, my Mr. Threes will not activate. So we're gonna play Crocodile and Mr. 1, drawing 2 cards, trashing 1, adding 1 to Buggy, swinging for 6. He can either take it or remove a card from hand. Win-win. All right, and it looks like he tossed a card to prevent the life. Scary thing about this card, in your turn, if you have 10 Dawns on the field, I think he can KO everything. Um, so he's swinging for 10. We'll give that to him. We definitely don't want to waste our hand just to get out. What's he at? He's at a 6. Oh, 7, 8, 9. He's going to swing for 9. Yeah, we'll take that, not counter out. He's got one active Dawn, so we're at 10 Dawn. Let's play our Muggy Ball so that way it sends sugar back to his hand. Because with Birdcage on board, whatever I send out is just going to be rested, so it was a waste of 5 Dawn. Um, that just would have been defeat. Okay, we would have. Once you lose your momentum, it's kind of game over. And we will play let's play Crocodile, not using leader ability, and behind that let's pull one of these out, draw 2, trash 1, and let's play the other Kabari or Bari Island. Cool. We will rest and let's send her and Crocodile to the bottom, drawing 2 new cards, and we can't swing for 5, so let's end turn. This has been a pretty fun match for sure. Anytime I get my board on, and if I get all my characters on board, I'm a happy person. I could care less if I win or lose on this match. Um, so let's just do the same thing again. He keeps pulling this sugar out. At this point, I kind of get what he's doing. His only thing is sugar. It's gonna rest my characters and Birdcage will lock them, and then whenever I attack, Birdcage will lock them. I mean, it's a really cool combo, but I think a lot of players have seen it done before. And that's what keeps this game really like active and fun in my eyes, is how fast paced it is, and like 1 minute something could be meta, and the next it could change for a little while. It's very up and down with this game, and I love it. So if you notice, I use 3 2K counters to get out of that. I want to keep my last life. I do have the counter. So this turn, we want to... Let's use the special Muggy Ball again. Sending sugar back. If you think that he would have put some other character on board, like a small... Like if I had a 1 cost out there, that pretty much locks up my special Muggy Ball. But let's just go ahead and get a Buggy out there to send him to the bottom of the deck. And let's use our Sanji peel off and end turn, because the heat's coming next turn. I've got 1, 2, 3. I've only got 3,000 counter power. He doesn't know that though. He sees 5 cards in hand. So if I were him, and he doesn't have anything with rush. Too bad the I'm invincible doesn't work on anybody but Uda. Okay, you may rest this. Okay. So he'll play the sugar. Well, at this point, man, you should have really been building your defense. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and use a 2K counter. We'll draw a card. And do we just go all in? Let's swing 6. Remember what I was saying? I'd rather have 5 characters that swing each. Doesn't matter what their cost is, because the math, if you do it, he's got 1, 2. He's got 5 cards in hand with 3 life. So he just used 2 cards and his Dawn. No, he already used it last turn. Okay. So we'll swing for 6. Let's see if he's got a 2K counter. He does. And that leaves me with 1, 2, 3. I got 4 more hits to go. All right. Let's swing for 7. He's gonna have to take this one. And let's swing for 7 again. Maybe take this, depending on what his. All right. And oh, dude, let's swing for 12. And I always swing from. I always go low to the. I always go from the lowest number up. I try to swing with the low numbers first, and then I'll swing with the big guys, because we want him to use those counter cards out of the low swings. All right, there it is. So, man, I can't believe I won that like that too. With like, he was up with so much life. It was such a gamble. Let's just not waste any time and just get right back into it. This is gonna be my last match. Um, let's hope we get someone good, like Blackbeard. I think, man, Blue Buggy is great versus Blackbeard because of his on play. If Blackbeard locks your on play abilities, that means a Buggy doesn't get bottom decked. You can still use your leader ability. You have you have 2 Buggies in hand with 10 Dawn. That's 2 Buggies on the field that are not about to be bottom decked. That's 2 12s. And that cost 10, but you just spent 5 Dawn each to get them out there. Yeah, dude, so much fun. So let's just draw. We're going against Yamato green yellow, by the way. She's the double attacker. The cards we'll be seeing from this, he can play Nami. Um, Nami, she will buff Yamato by giving him banish. And then um, so banish, pretty much when he hits me, the cards that they don't get to go to my hand, um, they go straight to my discard or trash pile. So we've got 4 cards. Let's play. Let's swing for 6, and I'll just use the other 3 on the Sanji Pilaf. Like always, just trying to get as big of a hand as possible, so that way when we start taking, when they start swinging on us, we can block out of it. Let's send a let's send a Galdino and a Crocodile back to the bottom of the deck. But see, I just pulled another Crocodile. Man, I've been seeing a lot of Crocodiles today. So, like, there it is, the famous. So he played Nami. Um, Nami, she gave the leader Yamato banish, and so they're just gonna swing. I'm just gonna play 2K counters. Um, it, it's really fun when you know what's coming. That really helps your game. So the best advice I can give to anybody who's wanting to be better at One Piece, just keep playing. Just keep practicing. It'll come. So we have 8 cards in hand. We're just gonna go ahead and play Pudding. We need to. He had a big hand. Resting 2 or resting to bottom 2. And that's a hard choice. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I've got 1 2K counter. That's a gamble I don't want to get rid of. I would like to get rid of one of the crocodiles, but I want to keep everything else. I want to play Mr. One behind Crocodile to be able to draw a card. All right, let's see what Yum Squared does. 7 at my 5. We have a 2K and a 1K, so I guess I could play Kabiji and Mr. One. That'd bring me to 8. Sad thing is I won't be able to use, yeah. So I think it's smarter. I'm glad I got rid of the crocodile. I want to get rid of him anyways. She swings for 6. Let's play 2 1K counters to get out of that. Attack with Charlotte Pudding on Nami for 4. And let's go ahead and play Whitebeard, bringing him to my hand, sending this back to her hand, and then I'm just going to go ahead and play him again. So that way I can draw a card, adding my last Dawn to Buggy and swinging at Yamato. Let's see what he does. All right. So we got 3/1. Now comes we got 4 life total on the board. That's important to remember for Yamato. Playing Yamato the 9 cost so they can actually I've got nothing to worry about. What else do we have that he could play? I've got 3 or more. So the Nico Robin can remove a life if I think that's the 6 cost. He's gonna get him on board again, and then the blocker. So what would I do to get behind that? We have a 2K, or I could take it. I do need a card in hand, but I do have the Sanji Pilaf, so let's just go ahead and block. Draw a card, draw Dawn. We're at 10 now. 6. Okay, yeah, we're gonna trash one Sanji Pilaf. We'll play one of them, and then attach the last Dawn. I should have actually attached the last Dawn to Charlotte Pudding, but hindsight, it's okay. So he'll take that. You should have used the 2K counter, right? Oh no, what just happened? Noah's Ark. Oh man. Okay, so I didn't see that coming. Rest all your opponent's characters. And they're frozen now. So this is definitely not a good position to be in. I'm hoping he only swings 2 times, right? Yeah. So he'll take a double. He's swinging for a double attack and then a single. Wow, that turned around quick. But honestly, are we gonna do this? Let's get the Buggy out there, bottom deck the blocker, and let's attach 5 Dawn to our leader and swing for 10. I mean, at this point in the game with so many of my characters, this like it's either gonna be either I'm gonna win or they're gonna win. This is the gamble. All right, all right. A win is a win. I'll take that. I would never recommend that, especially with he had 5 cards in hand. I was really banking on him. Even if he had 1K counter, let's say he had 4 1K counters and just one 2K blocker. I mean, it's a really really big gamble. When you're in tournaments on a higher end level, you're definitely not playing with Buggy. I already know that, but like, I just would never. I wouldn't go all in like that. Too many times I've won from it, but too many times I've also cost myself a nice tournament. So just keep that in mind. I guess that's a nice way to end the video. So we'll just stop there. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the shuffle table and want to see more content like this, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay tuned for more One Piece content coming your way soon. Catch you in the next video.